Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be answering all of your questions. I went on social media, it's @MariahMayX on Twitter and Instagram, and I told you guys to send in all your questions and I'm going to answer them today for you now. So if you sent in a question, keep an ear out, and if you didn't, it's time to get to know me. I'm going to start, I think I did it on Instagram mainly. Okay, this is Stevie MC asked, any pre-match routines or superstitions? Not really. Normally for a match I just try and stretch and get into the zone, maybe do like a little prayer just to make sure everything goes okay and everyone's safe, but nothing too superstitious. I just like to be ready as early as possible just so I can stretch and just get in the zone, but no superstitions. P Conti 44 asked, who's your favourite WWE wrestler? I don't have just one favourite. I think my all-time favourite is Trish Stratus or Mickie James. Lozano Eddie, sorry if I get anyone's name wrong because they're just the username so I can't see where the spaces are. What's the most difficult thing, physical or emotional, about becoming a wrestler? It's hard to think because obviously it's such a positive experience, so it's hard to think of like a negative thing like that. But I think one of the tougher things is maybe just trying to juggle everything and try and give wrestling as much time as you would like, and coming to terms with the fact that like when you're training and when you're first starting out in wrestling, like you're juggling so much from maybe being in school and working a part-time job or working a full-time job, and you just sit there and you think, oh, I need to put this time into wrestling. At least for me, that was what I found to be the most difficult thing, was just the mental strain of knowing that I could be spending that time on wrestling but I wasn't, and I couldn't. You know, you obviously need money to live. Yeah, I think that was what was difficult for me, was just sitting there and thinking, oh, I could be doing wrestling stuff now, I could be progressing with wrestling, but you can't because you've got to go to work, school, or whatever it might be. And then maybe another difficult thing as well was just wanting to just constantly get better and like seeing something and thinking, oh, I can get so much better. And like for me, it's just, I want to get to the next thing, get to the next thing, get to the next thing. So when I watch like an old match back, I'm like, what was I doing? And like just trying to not be so hard on yourself and appreciate a journey and appreciate where you are in your career. And like for me, obviously I'm just starting out, and not to be so hard on myself. That's something that I struggle with personally. I mean, everyone's completely different, but for me, yeah, it was just the mental battle of wanting to put all my time into wrestling, and then as I was progressing in wrestling, kind of dealing with like growing and changing and learning to accept like mistakes and the fact that, you know, everyone starts somewhere, you know, you don't just walk in like AJ Styles, it takes time. So yeah, just trying to not be so cruel to yourself, I think, sometimes. Hellcat Perez asks, what's your favourite wrestling entrance theme? I mean, I love all the diva themes because obviously when I grew up there were divas, and I used to like run around my living room and like do all the entrances and pretend to be them. So like, I mean, the other day I heard Maria's theme, which is so good, and I would put a clip in but copyright, so I'm not gonna. But Maria's theme, Lay Cool's theme is really, really good. Trisha's obviously is like the best. Yeah, so many of like the old themes I just love because they bring back so much like nostalgia from being a child. So many of the older, especially the diva themes, I just love because they bring back so many memories for me. Pink and Nata 45 asked, what's your favourite finisher? Ooh, that's a really good question actually. I mean, I should say my own, I guess. The MKO, but I'm trying to think. Oh, that's a really good question. I think one of the, I mean, it's hard to pick like an all-time favourite because like as a kid, obviously growing up, like The Undertaker, his tombstone was just like, as a kid I just couldn't believe it, so like it was unbelievable to me. So that would have been maybe my favourite finisher growing up, just because I literally thought they died. Now I quite like the curb stomp. When I was really getting into wrestling and wanting to become a wrestler, I remember him doing that move and I just thought it looked so awesome. I'd never really seen anything like that as a finisher, just from what the wrestling I'd watched, so I thought it was really cool. Andres Flores.18 asked, besides becoming a pro wrestler, what other career interested you? I mean, I always really wanted to be a wrestler. There wasn't too much else I wanted to do. But I guess when I left school I kind of did a bit of acting and a little bit of theatre, just because I really enjoyed being on stage. I really enjoyed playing a character and like getting all dressed up and getting into the role and performing in front of people. So yeah, I guess another career would be acting, namely theatre. I mean, I still do YouTube and that's kind of a bit like, you know, being on camera and stuff like that. So I do like this kind of stuff and I enjoy it, but I just always wanted to wrestle, really. Fashion asked, what are your top 3 favourite perfumes? That's such a different question. It's gone from wrestling to perfume. I love it. So my favourite perfumes are Chanel. I'm not sure which one. I'm really sorry. I love Chanel perfumes. My mum always gets them for Christmas and they just smell really nice. And then I really like I think it's Love by Chloe. I don't have a top 3, they're just the 2 that I like, sorry guys. But yeah, that one, I used to wear it all the time, so it just like brings like lots of memories, which is really nice, like happy memories, so yeah. William asked, I've done boxing announcing, worked as a reporter for a major company, but how can I get wrestling announcing and commentating? Always would love the backstage interviews. If there's something you're interested in, I would recommend kind of putting together a CV and maybe contacting like local promotions to you and just saying that you'd like to ring announce for them, or you could pop along to wrestling training actually, and you could even offer to do that, and then you could kind of practice with them. I did ring announcing, but obviously I was trained to be a wrestler, and then the promotion I trained with were doing a show and they said, do you want to try and ring announce just to be in front of a crowd, just, you know, before your match, get like a bit of experience being in front of a wrestling crowd. So that's how I got into it. But in training before, I actually practiced it, so everyone like got to practice an entrance, which is part of being a wrestler, and then I ring announce for all of them. So I recommend maybe putting together like a CV and sending that to local people, maybe asking a couple of training schools if you could come along and try and maybe practice something. I'm not 100% sure what the direct route to get into that is, but that would kind of be what instinctively I would go for. I hope that helps. Tyler asked, first place you're going after quarantine or something you want to do? Wrestle. Maybe get my hair done and then wrestle. I'm just dying to get back into the ring, dying to get into training. I know a lot of wrestlers will be in the same boat where you're just sitting here and just like so motivated, and I'm planning ideas, like I've started planning out new gear, I've added things to my entrance, I've tweaked my moveset, I've been practicing bits and pieces that I can practice, poor Dan, but I've been practicing little bits and pieces I can, and just trying to get into like the best shape possible for when everything does go back to normal. So the first thing I'm going to do is train and wrestle, hopefully, because I'm very excited to get back into it, and I just want to continue to grow, because when the quarantine happened, it was, you know, obviously it's so difficult for everyone, and at that point I was really starting to come into my own and get a bit of confidence with my wrestling, and I felt like, looking at the span of matches, I've had about 40 matches, and looking back at them, like my first like 10 to like my recent like 4 or 5, like such an improvement. And I felt like because I was being so consistent with it and I was being able to be on all these promotions and I was getting that chance, I was doing quite well for myself, and I was actually really improving, and I was very proud of what I was doing. So it's really frustrating because I'm like, oh, like I was on such a roll, but I'm confident that when things start back up I can get back into that mentality. I really hope so, because, you know, being stuck indoors and stuff is hard to kind of keep that positive outlook and keep that confidence, which is hard to get in the first place. So yeah, it's going to be training, it's going to be wrestling, probably going to be a trip to the hair salon. Sheriff Ramisa said, hey, I just want to let you know you have fantastic content. Thank you very much, I'm trying. Thanks for lovely comments on here. By the way guys, I see them, I'm just trying to get the questions. 0622 iFan asked, do you prefer to be heel or face? I feel like I've answered this one before. Like, I love being a babyface at the moment because I think I'm finding it to be the best way to learn. It's helping me really try and develop a character as a babyface, because when it comes to being a heel, like I have so many ideas, whereas as a babyface I find it more difficult. So I'm enjoying that challenge, and I'm enjoying trying to find myself in wrestling. And yeah, like I enjoy being a babyface at the moment, but there's definitely going to be a heel turn on the cards maybe one day. MDM1680 asked, how long have you been wrestling? It's been just over a year since my first match. Benny Boy Handy asked, what do you like about doing wrestling? There's a lot that I like. I like the growth and the challenge it presents me. I like the fact that you can just, if there's something that you feel like you're not happy with or it's not good enough for you, you can just go and change that and work hard on it. Over the past year there have been little things, there's been a lot that I've watched back in my match that obviously I've improved on, but there's been little bits and pieces that I've like, I want to tweak them, I want to do better, and I've went away and worked really, really hard, and then to compare maybe a later match with that and see the improvement and see the growth, for me is something that I really like about wrestling, because it's given me the opportunity to grow a lot, not just physically but mentally, and in the skill that I'm doing, which I really like. It's nice to be able to have a passion for something and set goals within that passion and improve. And don't get me wrong, like I said at the start of the video, there's always that mental thing where you're hard on yourself, and that can be quite difficult to deal with sometimes. But when you get rid of that and you just see the growth and the improvement, and you can like give yourself a pat on the back and say like you've worked hard at something and you've actually made strides and you've gotten better and people can see it, that is something I really like about wrestling. Obviously I just love it. I loved it growing up, and I just love the fact that you get to entertain people, and now I'm getting to tell a story a bit more, which I really like. So yeah. Shafro asked, what are your favourite colours? Pink. Bittersweet Symphony 91 asked, are you and Danny ever going to tag team together again? Yes, we are going to tag together, I'm sure, in the future at some point. Hopefully we'll get to do some all-star dates, because it's always fun doing a mixed tag. We always get to tell really funny story, which I like because I'd never really done many comedy spots and things like that, so it was really fun getting my teeth in and like getting to tell a funny story because the crowd just loved it. They were so entertained, which is what it's all about. Hopefully we get to tag again. I'm sure we will one day, maybe when wrestling starts back up again. Neil Vanika asked, is the corona effect very much? Has it affected my life? Of course it has. It's affected everyone's, and I just think it's important to stay positive, stay at home, do what we can to help other people, and you know, there's more important things to worry about, although it can be quite difficult, you know, struggling with maybe missing out on things or missing out on opportunities. At the end of the day, the important thing is everyone's health and everyone being safe, so it's just about getting through this now. So hopefully maybe at the end of the year we can go back to normal, but obviously it's impossible to put a timestamp on it. Aaron Birdie asked, I missed you when you went to Coventry, when are you coming next? Hopefully I can work out a date in the future. I mean, nothing is certain at the moment because obviously there's just no wrestling, but I would definitely like to come back to Coventry, so hopefully sometime soon. Rob Wilson 22 asked if you picked up any hobbies during this time. I haven't picked up anything new. I would like to start learning a language. That's one of my really far off goals, so I should really get started on it because I actually studied French and Italian at school, so I'd really like to kind of get back into them because I've kind of lost touch with it. So that is one of my goals. In terms of picking up a hobby, not so much. I've kind of just set myself micro goals within wrestling and within things that I want to do that I can do at home, and improving my flexibility, improving my strength, putting on size and muscle rather than hobbies, I guess. And I've just done a bit more gaming, which is something I already did before, but I've actually got time to do now, so yeah, kind of. Okay, so I think that's all of the questions, but the way that they come up on Instagram is really like hard to read them, so I hope I got all of yours. If I didn't, I'm so sorry, but comment it down below and I'll be sure to reply to you in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're all keeping safe during quarantine. I'm going to try and post every day, probably multiple times a day, because there's not too much else to do, so I'm just going to get stuck in with YouTube and I'm really enjoying it. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and turn my notifications on so you can be the first to see my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye!